our two big core design and build businesses are going very strongly, and the specialist build divisions are following suit. So the aggregation of all those performing very nicely gives us strong expectations for the future.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Galliford Try Chief Financial Officer Chris Hampson. Chris, very good to speak with you. Could you give us an introduction to Galliford Try for those who may not already know you?
Thanks. Good morning, Stephen. Good to see you again. Yeah, so Galliford Try is a leading high-quality UK-only Tier 1 construction group. We construct critical economic and social infrastructure across the UK. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean sort of in our construction division, I mean prisons, healthcare, schools, affordable housing, those sort of things. And in our infrastructure division, roads, water and energy infrastructure. And alongside those, we have some specialist support and technology businesses that provide the surrounding support for those big design and build. About 5 years ago, we set out to really create a sustainable Tier 1 construction group. And we've been working really hard at that. We were really pleased to report our 5th year of sequential growth across all our key metrics. And our trading update today talks about further progress, reflecting, I think, the compelling UK market dynamics that are out there. There's a significant amount of investment in infrastructure in the UK, but also reflects our strong culture of high quality delivery and risk management. We target engineering works on long-term frameworks in the public and regulated sector. So about 90% of our work is for the government and for the water companies, specifically the electricity companies. And we also bring in modern methods of construction to bear, which is becoming an emerging differentiator for the group. And in terms of those sort of market dynamics, I think it's really important to remember the sort of significant investment proposals made by the government last year. The National Infrastructure Bill, 10 years, £725 billion, the affordable housing, the £39 billion, and those sort of things. So there's significant amounts of investment, long-term visibility of pipelines on the frameworks that are on that gives a really good outlook for the future.
Chris, as you mentioned, you released your half-year trading update this morning and another upbeat announcement, further upgrades to the full-year revenue and adjusted PBT. What's given you the confidence to push up expectations again?
I think a couple of things. So I talked just then, Stephen, about some of the strong market dynamics, and that's playing out in our results. Our two big core design and build businesses are going very strongly, and the specialist build divisions are following suit. So the aggregation of all those performing very nicely gives us strong expectations for the future. Within that, our order book is up to £4.1 billion from £3.9 billion a year ago, so that's a nice 5% increase. We have strong visibility of our pipeline. And within that, we're also seeing some progress into our new sector. So I mentioned the energy sector earlier. We've won our place on the £9 billion civil engineering lots within the £59 billion high voltage framework. So we're really pleased to get further into that energy sector. And also we announced our strategic capital markets day a couple of years ago, and we've been moving into the affordable housing sector. That's been a little bit slower than we like, but we are really pleased to announce our first framework win on affordable housing. So we're making good progress there. And we see that flowing into revenue. Revenue has risen. We expected a flatter half given the transition from AMP7 to AMP8. We see that happening. It's gone according to plan, but we are making progress. We are moving forward, and our outlook for 26 remains very, very strong. We're not unaware of the macro factors as we look to 27 and beyond, but we are UK focused only, and we'd like to think we're relatively well insulated against some of the external market factors. So we're in a good place. Revenue feels strong, and the AMP8 water programs, you'll remember, they're up from just over 50 billion to just over 100 billion. Those things are progressing nicely as we expected. So that's all been very positive on revenue. In terms of margins, we talked about we've expected further margin expansion. We are seeing that happening, and therefore we've pushed our adjusted PBT guidance to just above the top end of market expectations. And finally, we shouldn't forget about cash. Cash is particularly important, certainly to CFOs like myself. We had another really strong progress in cash in the half. Our average cash up by another 6% to nearly £190 million on average over the last 12 months. And that includes, we're well progressed through our share buyback as well. So capital allocation decisions happening nicely as expected, but continuing to turn revenues into profits and into cash.
Chris, you mentioned AMP7 and AMP8, and when you last updated the markets in September, you expected revenue for 2026 to be flatter as you transition from AMP7 to AMP8 in water. How has water performed in the first half?
Water's performed very much as expected. We've been working really hard with our long-term client base. We've been on the frameworks for a long time, so we've been working really hard with their guys to try and smooth the transition because clearly they want workforces in place to keep going. So that collaborative approach is really starting to pay dividends. We've seen a smoother transition there. But the pleasing thing for me is outside of water, all the other businesses have continued to make progress, so the group overall moves forwards.
Chris, modern methods of construction is becoming a key component in the industry. Is this going to be a really positive and developing theme for Galliford Try?
So modern method construction is a pretty broad term, Stephen. It's a range of capabilities across all of our core businesses and core skills. I think pointing to our most recent success, which is the Rise, the new tallest building in Cardiff that we've just topped out, and we're now in the fit-up phase. And we used off-site production methodology, so all of the panels were constructed off-site inside a factory, so you get high quality manufacturing there. They're delivered on site just in time to build this beautiful tall tower in Cardiff. What I think is really special about this site is the site was right alongside a train line. It's almost, in all other situations, it would be an unviable site. But this modern method construction has allowed us to build this great new building in a very tight site. So I think these are key skills for Galliford Try to develop and to show the world what we can do. But I think it's also key for our customers as sites that they might find hard to develop become more viable. And we all know that the UK needs more residential accommodation. I think that's a national priority we're all aware of. And so we really think we can bring these MMC skills to bear in residential, but also beyond that in defence when you're building accommodation blocks for the military and in prisons when we're building blocks for the judicial sector. We can build those same skills across the broad portfolio of clients that we have. And if anyone really wants to know a bit more about it, there's a couple of great videos on our website, a time-lapse photo which shows all of the skills that we've been to bear in Cardiff. And I think that's really worth a watch. So yeah, I think this is, it's been long talked about, but I think you can really see those things in action. Galliford tries it right at the front and the back on these.
Chris, I hope you'll continue to keep us updated with your progress. Thank you very much for your time today.
Of course I will. Good to see you, Stephen. Thank you very much.